Ladies and gentlemen, what's going on? Hope you're all having a fantastic day. I'm joined by Patrick Price, Chris Duarte, and of course, we got the one and only Mr. Ben J. Nassim. Gentlemen, how we doing today? Because Jesus Christ, was today a long fucking day. Was this the longest day in CDL history or some shit? For only 3 matches. Remember, it was only 3 matches.
Yeah, bro. And one match lasted like 2 hours, 3 hours.
No, it was like 4 hours.
Was it actually?
Chris, it was 4 hours.
I was playing Lost Ark, so I had no idea. I just knew, like, I'd look over and I'm like, hey, are they on the next series? And I'm like, wait, it's a 1-0? First series of the day?
Dude, holy shit. It was a grueler. Pat, who you texting over there, bro? You got a little girlfriend or something? You got a little girlfriend?
Checking my source, baby.
Okay,
He's definitely got the stat
source. Okay.
Yeah, we definitely got a lot to talk about. Because obviously we have the major next week, and those are the last online matches, correct?
Yeah,
that's it.
That's
We're
it.
That's
it.
Thank fucking God, dude.
Yeah, thank fucking God, bro. Holy shit.
Well, this weekend was a grueling, bro.
It was
everything but the Face the Out series went to Game 5 today and yesterday.
Yeah, I mean
someone said 6 of the last 7.
Yeah, so
that's pretty crazy.
Yeah, the only one was the Face series. Everything else was a Game 5.
Yeah, that's the one of the 7. Yeah.
Yep. Well, listen, today, chat, we're gonna do things a little bit differently since we had so many delays today, and we are starting the show around midnight. It has been a long day, so we're just gonna go series to series, give our thoughts, talk about some of these tweets that have been flying around, and we're gonna take a look. They got the bracket right for the major. I want to take a look at this bracket. And see how everything kind of fell through at the end of these online stages. So we'll hop into the first one, man. The first match is LAG versus London. And honestly, man, London, a little bit of a troll today. I think we can all agree. They might have threw this one away.
I mean, when you're looking that dominant throughout a stage, you can give one, right? But it's just, the thing is that you give it to a team that desperately needs wins, and I don't know if you're just trying to make the standings interesting or you're betraying the New York subliners, man, because they've been helping them out quite a bit this stage with some of the wins they've been able to put up on the board.
I mean, here's go ahead, Chris. Go ahead, Pat.
I was just gonna say, like, they started up 2-0 and they looked, perfectly dominant in that series, right? They went up 2-0. And so aside from that delay, I think that's where it all started.
Yeah, they got compromised by the delay.
Yeah, because I know there was a delay in the beginning, which wasn't that big of a deal, but then it came back. They won. They looked like London won the first 2, and then another delay hit. They obviously get smoke and control, and then that controversial zero play in the Berlin. Yeah. And it's weird too, because I know Trey came on a little bit, if you guys were on the show earlier, and kind of talked about it, but it's just one of those things where it's like, this can be looked at as not a good play or a terrible play or a great play, but at the end of the day, it's still a risk. Yes, his teammates should have gotten that kill 10 out of 10 times. Like, there's no question. Neptune should not have been able to do what he did. But Trey could have eliminated that situation entirely if he just made the not risky, safe play. And making that safe play had no risk. He didn't need to go and cut off those spawners. Like, yeah, he could have, but he didn't need to. They weren't making it to the hill in time. They weren't stopping this win from the Ravens as long as Neptune died, period. And they knew that. And so it's just one of those situations where, yeah, he should be able to count on his team, but I would just go for the safe play 10 out of 10 times because it has no risk involved, a guaranteed map win, and they're done with the series.
This was the play right here. I mean, we could kind of get your thoughts, Ben and Chris, and kind of see what you guys think. Me and Pat actually got some data from this because when we were watching, Pat wanted to see how long it actually takes to come off spawn and hit the hill. So we were just fucking around a little bit during the watch party. But what do you guys think Trey should have did? You think that him cutting off spawners was a good player or what? Because Trey was saying, there's only one guy in the hill. He's thinking, 3 of his teammates. He's trusting his teammates to get that one guy in hill. He's guaranteeing the win by cutting off spawners and maybe trying to delay their push so they can't get back in there. But because his teammates got pieced up, because they all lost the fights, they weren't able to win this one. So what do you guys think? Chris, we'll start with you. I don't know where the fuck Ben went. This guy disappeared.
No, I think it's one of those things where, like, in hindsight, if he makes, let's say they are able to get to the hill in time and he makes the play to stop them and delay them, he's looked at as a hero. But in this scenario, he's looked at as a kill whore. I don't really have too much to say on the play. It's just unfortunate that his teammates got pieced up. I don't think he made a devastating play. I think he just got his team just got really unfortunate and got smoked. Like
Yeah.
it happens.
I think the simple way to say it is like it's not his fault, but he could have made sure they won the game, right?
Yeah.
Like that's how you gotta. That's how I think I'm taking it or taking away
100%.
from this. Like, yes, he's not the reason they lost, but he could have been the reason that they won without question.
Yeah.
And I think that's what it comes down to, saying that play like had risk to it, right? Like there was risk, and he could have avoided that risk by just making the guaranteed routine, just win the gameplay.
The way I see it, like, and this is just me as a player, I would have made the same play. Like I would have said, I would have made the same play. Yeah, like in the moment, I'm just like, we just got like, okay, there's 3 of them off spawn. I'm gonna just make sure that they can't get to the hill. You guys got to worry about one guy in the hill.
Yeah.
Like, it was made sense in my head. It's just unfortunate.
Also, the play, if it was any other scoreline, Chris, I think there's no debate, right? That's the only play to make with any other scoreline. It's just the fact that they needed legit 9 seconds and they only had to kill one guy. And Tom, if you want to back it up, I don't think Neptune 1v3'd either. Like originally it was a 3v2 for them. And to be honest, if you go back and look at the kill feed, like it just seemed like they traded out and Neptune came out on top of the trades. And at worst, he had a 1v2, but like the London guys were stagnant anyway. It's not like they were all together. Because they were coming off spawn. When Neptune got his first kill, it looked like the rest of them were pretty deep. So I don't necessarily think like Neptune world starred them and 1v3'd them. They were just kind of split. Like
you also have to give credit to Neptune. It's just not all like London just fucking up, because in the scenario,
he did get 3.
Yeah, in the scenario where
there was one person else there that like they traded out with.
Yeah, I was
sorry,
about.
Let Chris get his point out. Go ahead, Chris.
I'm saying just in general, in a scenario like that where you're the last guy alive and you're getting collapsed on, that's like the best play you can make is like try to peek an angle, catch a guy like pushing you, and try to like isolate 1v1s, and he did that like pretty well.
So one thing I'm curious is if I don't think anyone went when all that shit went down and Trey was pushed out and his teammates were coming off a spawn. I don't think anyone went glass, right? Like no one went outer.
I can rewind it. We'll see where they all came from. But no, they were outer.
No, but I don't think so, because that's how Neptune was able to make the play.
All right, so Neptune gets away. Yeah, they're all glass. You're right.
One's glass. But you see how he got his first kill and then he got the second, and those were so spread between when he got the third one. Like they just kind of funneled in one by one by one.
If anything, you don't really blame Trey there. I think it's more so blamed on I think it's blamed on the second guy, because the first guy is like the spotter. Okay, he's playing close. Second guy is like get close to the window, wait for your teammate, and then he doesn't wait for his teammate. He takes the gunfight, and then his third guy is just like, well, I'm gonna try to force trade this guy.
And they held it too. You got to give it to LAG, because London still had a lot of time to get back into this and break. They had 2 breaks. They had 2 more opportunities to break, and they just couldn't get kills. They couldn't get a single kill. They just had them pummeled, and it just seemed like London just kind of they trolled it, man. They trolled it for sure.
Well, you know how those situations go after that play collapse. Like it's like a lose full moment to where the next 2 fucking pushes are just gonna be so bad anyway.
But I tweeted to Brian saying about it, like just in general, it's like this game with the time to kill being so fast is like you do all the hard shit right, and then you just have to do like the last, like the easiest fucking thing in the world is just trade this one guy out, wait for your team, coordinate, like the fucking freest thing that you should instinctively do as a player, and then you just don't do it because you think, oh, it's one guy. Like, what's he gonna do? 1v3 us?
Yeah.
He fucking what? He 1v3s you, and you're just like, oh fuck.
Yeah. Listen, it was definitely a hurt piece for Trey in his mind mentally, because he was probably like, how the fuck did we not kill this guy? So Trey probably lost fucking full. But
100%.
It's one of those plays where you look back on and you're like, shit. I wanted to go to the last map. We ended up going to the last map. I thought this round from Slasher was just clinical. I like the spot he plays, because I feel like he's in a spot where he could get one and get out quick, and kind of keep his life. So I like the spot he was playing, because he gets one into Afro. London kind of trolled right there too. I'm not sure if Afro knew the angle right there. Remember when Dave Patty did that too? People are always doing that. They're always challenging top green, and they're not looking at their right. And then there's always somebody.
It's always just, it's weird that they didn't open the door as well. It's like the door like gives you like the initial line of sight, and usually by opening the door, like you might actually like cause somebody to tweak and shoot. You know what I mean? Like give away the position. Like you see the door open, you start pre-firing. So like, I don't know. It's just.
Look at the positioning. Look how he repositions. He just sprints back to his spawn. He feels the presence. He feels London running at him, and he gets back, gets towards his team, and he picks another one. He gets another one overextended.
I was actually surprised to see them play Tuscan SND. The Ravens have never won Tuscan SND.
Yep.
They're last in first blood percentage and first blood win percentage. Yeah, so they vetoed Berlin, which I mean I know they're 3-9 at, but like it's not the Gorillas' best map by any means. They're less than 50%. So it did kind of shock me that they let this map get through because they're still winless on it. And
yeah, they're 3-9.
I think it
Sorry,
speaks to a bigger problem, which is like their S&D map pool aside, like their inability to win map 3 is how they end up in the spot because they rolled the first 2 maps and you're like, okay, well, they're probably going to lose the 3rd map because they can't win a control. And suddenly, they gave LAG life in this series.
Yeah. I mean, what did you guys think about the vetoes as a whole? I mean, at the series, you think any besides for the Tuscan, obviously?
I mean, I honestly, they were bad. Like, granted, the Gorillas are good at Berlin, but it was another series where London got their best 2 hard points in the series, and we kind of all agree here that London should have won this game 4 anyway, right? Like they should have, without a doubt, won that Berlin hard point.
Yeah.
And so I think on the side of Gorillas, it was poor vetoes, especially in the respawns. But other than that, I mean,
but the thing is though, Pat, I don't think Gorillas have any options but to play these maps against them. Like we've already talked about how Gorillas map pool is so fucking limited to the point where they just have to play maps that are going to look terrible for them. And so I mean, yeah, granted vetoes are terrible in the aspect that London is getting their 2 best hard points. I don't think LAG have many better options in their
they don't have any good maps. They don't really have any. Like LAG doesn't have one map where you're like they're
stand
dominant
out
at this map. Yeah, so but it is kind of crazy to think, like, especially when we talk matchups, like I think Ravens will always have the edge over a number of teams, and LAG is one of them. And I think any other day they come away with the series win.
Yeah.
Well, listen, let's hop over to the next series, man. LAG, they were able to clutch up today and get the reverse sweep against London, so good job out of them. Pat, I don't know if there's any final stats. You want to talk about the stats a little bit? Maybe somebody who popped off? What are the stats looking like overall for the LAG boys? I feel like Dano's had himself a day.
So we kind of talked about this, Tom, where like Slasher just has these random performances, right? He had one against FaZe not a few weeks ago where he had like a 1.5 and they got away with the series dub.
Yeah.
And this was another one. He had a 1.4 today, just absolutely took over.
Damn.
And it's just one of those series where he's obviously capable of it, plus 30 on the day.
Yeah.
No one else really performed that amazing on his team outside of maybe Neptune, especially in that that Berlin hardpoint clutch up. But and then obviously he took over game 5. So I think it's just kind of speaks to the fact that Austin still has that capability, and he seems to really do it against the best teams, right? Like at the time when he plays them, like he might get play average against the middle of the pack teams, but whenever he goes up against like the top teams at the time, he always shows up.
Yeah, no, bro, he had almost 12,000 damage in this one, plus 27. Got it up on the screen right now, so good plays. Treyboy had a good day as well, besides for the one mishap, right? That couldn't have been could have changed the way he played that situation. Besides for that, I thought Trey was playing really well today. And Neptune and Spar, I think it's good to see Neptune playing well. I think that's always a good sign when you see Neptune being comfortable. So, any final thoughts on the series? Go ahead, Pat.
The last thing, Ben, because I wanted to follow up on what you said. Ravens are now 2 losses away from tying the loss streak in control. So
damn.
That's pretty bad. Like, to think about how dominant they are as a team right now, to be like 2 games away from tying the overall control loss streak.
Damn.
That's pretty nuts. They're doing it without control.
Well, I mean, here's what I would say is, and we'll talk about the bracket, but they're going to play Toronto, the Bedmans and the boys, and Toronto hasn't been particularly good at respawn. If London can figure this out on the control side, you got an opportunity to build there, and then your next opponents are all really 2 good control teams. So.
100%. Now let's head over to the next one. We got Optic, Texas going up against Toronto Ultra, Boat Cage, Hardpoint, Berlin S&D, Gav Control, Tuscan Hardpoint, Boat Cage, S&D. This was another reverse sweep, correct? Optic was up 2-0 in this one.
A lot of people wrote my boys off early, Tom, in this one. I was here for the watch party.
I mean, Optic came out strong.
I heard a lot of bullshit in my ear writing off the Ultra boys. Ben saying they couldn't win a respawn. This, that, and another, but hey,
they got 2 in this series somehow.
That boy Kleenex is different.
Yeah, he had an absolute day today. I definitely think Kleenex was a key to Toronto's success. I thought Bance played fantastic as well. I think Bance has been such a good player for this Toronto Ultra squad. He's been just typical Benjamin Bance.
He
But
stepped up this year, man.
he
He's actually
stepped
been like
up. He's been
performing
stepping
like
up.
on an individual level compared to like, you know, the prior years.
No,
He might have had one of his
100%.
best series today too. It wasn't like a crazy, but in terms of like damage and total kills, I think he only had like a 1.1 something, but like it was one of his better series that we've seen in a long time.
Yeah, I mean, Ben, why don't you give us your thoughts about the series? Anything in the vetoes too? I mean, we start things off with a Bokeh hard point. That's where Optic kind of took the lead. They came out strong on Bokeh. It was pretty one-sided. Looked pretty comfortable for Optic. Berlin, obviously a really close map. Optic with a little bit of a comeback, right? That probably could have went Toronto's way, but Optic, they ended up making a big comeback, and now when they stayed composed and they started making some plays, and it kind of fell apart after that. So, give your
Tom,
thoughts.
it's the same thing as the London series, man. I don't know what it is with this major right now, but something's off for Optic on control.
But Ben, they said Illy was back.
I mean, to be
They
fair
said
to
Illy
Pat,
was back,
He
man.
plays good.
bro, he's playing
played
like
good.
one of their he's one of their better players.
But I think the thing is here is it kind of speaks more about where this team really was, right? With or without Illy, this team has had a fall off, and I think you know whether you're an Optic fan or not, like you kind of got to realize that this team has fallen off, and they've especially fallen off massively in control, right? It doesn't matter whether they have Prolu or Illy. This team's struggling in control, and that was their best win condition for like the first few months of this game, and it's just not there anymore.
I know there's probably gonna be a million like hater Optic fans running threads about Pat on the Reddit after this show, but it's all good. I kind of agree with Pat. Like they really need to figure out the chem situation right now, especially in this series. The sub duo did not have a good performance. And it's really hard to pinpoint. I'm gonna have to go back and rewatch the VOD and really intently see like where disconnect is. The benefit now, Optic, you know, they are gonna start losers bracket, which is unfortunate, but they're gonna get an extra day of practice because of that. They need to focus and figure out how to get more chemistry across the board with their team. This team is talented enough to make the losers run. But to your point, Pat, I agree. Like it speaks towards they haven't really improved that much with Interback, and they still have a long way to go. So I'm curious to see what happens in the next couple of days.
They were 21-2 in control, and now they're 25-8. So they've gone 4 for 7. Yeah, 4 for 7 after going 21-2. Like that's insane. And I know we had a Gav in this series. Their last 5 Gavs, they were 5-0 on. They obviously hadn't played it in a little while, but they were 5-0 in their last 5 Gavs and ended up losing it today. And lost defensive too. They lost defense rounds on Gav, which we've talked about. That's an 80% win chance. Like you can't lose your Ds
the one
on
thing
Gav.
the one thing I also want to chime in on is like it doesn't seem like Optics like map pool is just like I feel like has slowly just gotten worse and worse. I feel like I'm confident on seeing them on like Bokeh hardpoint. I'm confident on them on Tuscan control. But then like outside of that, I honestly can't like it's just I can't seem to really think of any other map. I feel like I'm like, oh, they picked this map, they're probably gonna win. At least not in like my head. Right. And I think that like worries me because like for the time when we saw Optic being their best, we like in our heads we thought these guys had a giant map pool. Like these guys were good at every control at the time. These guys were really fucking good at search and destroy, and they were still like holding their own in hard points a lot of the time, and they were just winning series off their S&Ds and control like for the most part, and like squeaking in a hard point here and there. But now it's just it doesn't seem like on paper their map set is just is like not good. And for me, like me and Pat had this hot take before prior to the event, and granted this is online and you just got back, but like these guys, bro, they're living up to their placements right now in terms of like how I perceive them as a team. Like granted they have the talent to be a top 2 team. They look like a fucking top 6 team in terms of their performances. And I know Optic fans hate to fucking hear it, but like they're just not good right now. They're not good.
Here's
they're not impressive.
Here's what I say about Optic. They're likely going to get a top 3 seed at champs. So it's not like, you know,
but that's based on the whole year, not where they stand right now, though.
Yeah,
I'm aware. So to me, like, yeah, you really want to do well Major 4, but the bigger picture's in play here. They just put Ender in for the last couple of matches. But they have some systemic problems that they need to solve beyond the Ender swap. It seems like, oh, they were better Prolo. Like the Ender Prolo thing seems to be a wash at this point.
Yeah. It's 50-50.
Ender's probably the better fit for them just from a chemistry perspective. You know, the bigger thing is they need to figure out how to get Scump and Shotzi going. Seems like right now that's the weakness, along with the fact that they're really struggling in control last few weeks.
1 in 5, by the way, in their last their last 6 controls.
Yeah, I definitely think control is the biggest problem. When I think about Optic, it's just the control right now. It's such a swing mode. Like when
Because
you
you give
get
your team confidence, man. Like to your point,
it's
like
just a huge swing. It's a huge
Bro-
swing of momentum too. I mean, the third
Yeah.
map is so big. Even if the series, say the series is tied 1-1. I know in this case they were up 2-0, but say it's tied 1-1. Whoever wins that control and goes up 2-1, it's just such a big map.
well, Tom, I think in past games, like teams that deep enough map pools, like, oh, you lose the map 3, it's fine. We got the map 4. But now, like, because everybody's map pools are getting tighter with how Vanguard is, like, you cannot give the team that momentum in game 3 because if they come out and you blow that map 4, suddenly it's all on their side. Go into a game 5 S&D, anything can happen.
Yeah.
You're making it way harder on yourselves by really struggling on that game.
But that's what I'm trying to say though. It's like you're talking about how like you give these teams a fucking inch, they take a mile. The reason that is, and the reason why it's like that is like lately it seems like every team, like granted it might not show in the standings, every team is playing fucking 500, like literally just 50-50 in all their fucking map sets. Besides like well sometimes FaZe, but like maybe London, like London probably London and New York look like they have the best map pool like right now out of like all the teams.
No one went 5.
I would still say FaZe,
right?
but yeah.
But like what I'm saying is like they look like they have the best map pools out of most teams. Every other team, it's like, oh, I see this map in the series. Yeah, they'll probably win that one. But then the rest of the series is like, wow, it can go either way. Like it usually when it gets closer to champs, I feel like you start to see teams have like really defined map pools. I think going into this champs or going into even to this major, like I don't know who the fuck's gonna win any of these maps.
Yeah,
like at all.
Because that's another thing, right? Is we're talking about Optic's record and this and that. And besides for the control, it's not like they're getting smoked. Like these maps are nail biters. Like these are all close. I mean, we're talking about.
To be fair,
like
to be fair though.
But they shouldn't be fucking close.
Before I say that though, or before we say that, like I don't necessarily think these maps are fully nail biters, right? Like that game 5, that could have easily been a 6-0 if Illy didn't 1v3, right? Like that could have without a doubt been
I agree with
also Ultra and literally were up 5-2 and choked. Like
and same thing with game 2. Like it went down to the wire.
Both teams
based on
have
chokes.
individuals making crazy plays during the series. I mean, individual plays, somebody clutching 1v3.
Yeah, but when is it? When does when is that gonna win? When is that gonna
stop? When is the losing gonna stop? This and that. I get it. I understand the performance thing. I just think it's hard to be consistent right now. It's hard. You got a lot of talent in the league. A lot of people are coming in. It's getting to that time of the year where everybody is just good. Everybody's good. And so every little thing you have to clean up. And even going into the major, I think the biggest thing that's just haunting Optic right now is they're starting in losers. And same with Toronto, right?
Yeah,
Toronto, they're both in losers, which kind of sucks for both of them. That's the worst feeling about it is being in losers. I mean, nobody wants to start in losers bracket. To be
fair, I know they started in losers, but like if we kind of look at the winners bracket, and Ben, we brought this up earlier, like the winner bracket really isn't that scary. Like it looks like there's a lot of, for lack of a better word, clear-cut victors in the winner bracket. And so like when you look at who's gonna fall down to play the likes of Seattle, Optic, Toronto. Like it's not really scary.
Toronto's
teams.
in winners, by the way.
Oh, they made it to winners.
Oh wow, they clinched it.
Oh, that's my boys,
shit.
baby.
They clinched it?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah,
that was a big win for them today. Then
So
that
who
was
fell
a
to
massive
losers
win.
then?
LAG, Paris, Optic, Seattle.
That's tough for LAG.
That is tough for LAG. That's the LA Thieves came in clutch.
Wait, so that was that game 5. That's what decided that, right? That game 5 LAT New York.
Yo, speaking of LAG, we can just segue onto this. We got Slasher, and he is putting up some spicy fucking tweets about the major and the online stuff that we should probably check out.
I'm down to check it out.
He said, "Want to rant, but what's the point? This online precedent that has been set, we will never get the real deal again, unfortunately. Oh well, lost the series and an event again before even boarding my flight." He's basically saying, I think
they won the series though. What?
No, he's basically saying no. He's not talking about the LAN event. He's talking about whoever he matches up against. He basically already lost to them. That's what he's saying. Why is that?
But what's the point? This online precedent has been set. We will never get the real deal again. Unfortunately, oh well, lost the series and an event.
Here's what I'll say about the online thing.
He's not the only one talking about this online shit. Every team today has been talking about online. Every fucking team, bro.
Y'all, here's what I'll say about the online thing.
Oh wait, never mind. I'm reading it wrong. It sounds like he's saying that he lost the series before he even played it. But he just means he started in losers.
Go ahead, Ben. Go ahead.
Austin's old thing is like, Austin's been sending a lot of tweets this week. We need to have a LAN league, and we all agree that would be the best form of COD. I think obviously COVID probably threw a wrench in that. All I'll say though to guys, this is probably a little bit of intel. Like, not every team in the CDL is aligned on everything being on LAN, and I'll leave it at that.
Y'all can say that again. I didn't hear what you said.
Not every team in the CDL is 100% down for every match to be on LAN.
But I mean, but that should be irrelevant, Ben, because
wait, what does their opinion matter?
Yeah, and even if that is true, like players are always gonna have bias, right? Like
no,
that should.
I by the way, I don't agree with that opinion. I just want to be clear. Like,
but I'm saying that opinion shouldn't carry any weight. It should have zero weight what the teams want. Period.
Get rid of league matches. Bring back pool play.
Like, bro,
the teams
bro,
are stakeholders, though.
Don't get me wrong. You keep opinions of players in mind when you make decisions, and you should talk to players and see where everybody's at and see what people want to do. But at the end of the day, man, if majority wants to go to LAN, I mean, it's a professional league. You know, we should be on LAN. If it's if it's possible to play every league match on LAN, and we're not doing it because teams didn't want to go, that's pathetic. That's fucking pathetic. The league should oversee all of it, and just say, no, we're playing on LAN.
Yeah,
and you either play or you don't.
Fair
you want
what
they should do, man.
Regardless of what they should do, man.
They should literally, instead of doing league matches, they should host like weekly or monthly tournaments online and have those, just like fucking the 2Ks, have them be seated, stream that, blah, 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 go to the events, play pool play, go. And just like we have, like, dude, you guys realize that what they're doing now online.
Does, by the way.
Yeah. But do you guys know what they're doing online right now with the league matches is technically an elongated fucking pool. It's the same fucking shit.
But here's the big problem that we don't ever address. I don't care if the matches are online or on LAN. The problem is how important the online matches are. The disparity in CDL points is like so minimal in comparison from the online to LAN. These online matches should literally be like 2 points, bro. They should be to the point where they're almost pointless, and all they are is seeding for the major. But the fact that they have these points that are added up the entire year mean way too much. That's the problem.
Yeah,
I'm all cool with online and online being the cheapest way to do it, the easiest way to do it, but it should not matter as much as it does. The fact that you get 10 fucking points is absurd, bro. Make everything matter at the event.
If they meant even less than they did now, nobody will watch.
So I think we all agree with the point.
Who cares? That's irrelevant. I'm not watching. I don't think any fan is watching because teams are getting 10 points instead of 5 or whatever the difference is. And if you are, you probably didn't even know the format to begin with. Like that's no.
You're right. You're
watching to see Team A beat Team B. Period.
All right, go ahead, Ben.
Let's be mindful of one thing here, because I think it's fair. We need to present all sides of this. Keep in mind when these things were decided last fall. Keep in mind and understand where COVID was last fall. And the
what would COVID have to do with how the structure was done?
Because the uncertainty of whether or not we'd be able to have live events this year. Y'all remember what it was like in October and November.
But Ben, that's just a poor planning thing, because they could have had option A with the certainty of live events happening and option B with the uncertainty. And whichever it ended up being, they pick from. You plan for both. That's what you do when you're a $300 million league. You plan for both situations. And when you get to the day where you have to decide between what it's going to be, you have both options ready and you pick the best option. You don't just plan for a shitty one and then go, oh, wait, no, we're doing this. Sorry, we're still going to keep the same format, though, even though it wasn't planned for this in mind. That's just poor planning. Laziness on Activision's part.
Yes, sir.
And should not be an excuse at this point.
Yes, sir. He's spitting. He's spitting.
Hey, Chris, you liking that or what, bro?
Yeah, bro.
Go ahead,
it's perfect.
Ben, you got something to say? Go ahead. If you got anything to say to that.
My only say is the world doesn't always work the way you think it does, but go ahead.
It doesn't when you don't have the staff in place to make sure it does. But Tom, listen, hey, get us to the next series, baby. What we got?
Then we got LA Thieves going up against the New York Subliners, and that I was honestly I thought New York was gonna come out and take the sweep, bro. They made it all the way to this point undefeated, and I'm thinking, holy shit, like they're gonna go undefeated. Like there's no way they lose this last match, and they lost to LA Thieves. And I personally thought LA Thieves looked pretty good today. Obviously the maps were really close, but we'll take a look at the vetoes. What did you guys think about the series?
I really want to interject really quickly because I just got a really interesting stat I want to bring up.
Yeah, sure.
So aside from these two teams. Actually, no, it's just one team. Aside from FaZe, every single team has gotten almost double the amount of points online that they've gotten on LAN. Aside from FaZe, they're the only team who's gotten more points on LAN than online.
Okay,
So when you think about from like the start of the league to where we are now, how many points these teams have really gotten, and there's some massive disparities. Like, I mean, Subliners is one. They've gotten 110 points online, 0 on LAN. Rocker's gotten 120 points online, 20 on LAN. Like when you look at these disparities, it's insane. And looking at Slasher, it looks like his team, granted they've only got points from one major. They're one team who like, hasn't gotten they're a 15-point difference between online and LAN. And like you look at a lot of these teams, bro, they're getting way more points online. The fact that they're qualifying for champs almost just online, like that should be impossible. Period. That should be impossible.
I agree with you. It's not that surprising that you hear that stat, because basically what you're saying is most teams play more matches online than they do at LAN in a year, which in my opinion isn't the worst if the fucking LAN matches just mean more. Like, why the fuck is it that you can go?
It's got to be one or the other. LAN matches got to be more, online's got to be less.
Exactly. Like you shouldn't go. You shouldn't, like, bro. One LAN match win should literally equate an entire qualifier, like the entire qualifier worth of wins. I don't care. Like, I think that just makes sense because, bro, teams are like, especially with
LAN should always matter the
especially with the way they have it set up now. Like, think about it, how Austin just tweeted this, right? He says how he basically already lost a series going into the tournament because he's in losers bracket. Bro, teams are starting in fucking losers. They go there, they play one match, they're out of the tournament. You played an entire fucking month worth of qualifiers to go to LAN, play one match, and be out potentially. Like,
play
that is
online.
You play better online, but we've been saying this since the beginning of the fucking Call of Duty started. Online fucking blows.
Latency. We have teams in LA, teams in Miami,
play better
teams
online?
in Toronto. That shouldn't be a thing.
There shouldn't be fucking as much
fair,
online
period.
as there is in general.
So guys, a couple of things here that are in play. One, the current problem with, I think, the CDL from a competitive ops standpoint, 12 teams is really difficult for formats. You guys have seen a bracket. You need multiples of 4. 12 makes like a lot of stuff way too difficult for them. Just think about it from a foreign perspective. That's not ideal. I think they're still also clearly trying to figure out how best to do this online activity. Last year they had the situation where, okay, you redrew the groups every time. And the problem with that is that sometimes teams didn't play each other. I think Daniel talked about this in a community update. So their plan this year is they went with these pre-drawn schedules. They were unbalanced. And that has had some pros and cons. I think another tweak they also clearly made this year, an attempt to make the end of the season matter more, was the point distribution between LAN and online. Because what happened last year is I think most of the spots, if not all the spots, pretty much locked in prior to the last major. This year, it's clearly coming down to
and there's still server issues too, though, Ben. I think that's also a problem.
Yep,
I mean,
no
people are still coming out bitching about pings and all this other bullshit. I mean, the fact that players are coming out tweeting out scoreboards of, oh, one team's pinging 50 to 60, other team's in the 30s. I mean, like, shit like that. And even on LAN, they're not even playing on LAN. The only reason why we're calling it a LAN is because everybody's on stage and they're playing at the same spot.
Yeah, bro.
But they're still playing online because the game is broken.
Can I say one thing, Tom, real quick?
You can't even play it offline. You can't even play it on LAN.
Can I say one thing, Tom? And I just want to be clear, guys, when this stuff comes up, what I'm trying to do here, guys, is present all sides of the issue.
No, 100%.
Yeah,
no,
no,
I
Ben,
wanna be
Ben, no,
abundantly clear
100%.
about what
I like the fact that you're bringing it from a different POV.
You know my opinion on this stuff, and it's pretty much.
I know, and you've also worked behind the scenes. You know how difficult.
I'm trying to give you guys
the
context so you understand some of these decisions.
My point is, though, regardless of what decisions are made, regardless of what fucking improvements are made, it's not enough. Like, and it's pathetic because, bro, it's a fucking $1 million company. I know, like, that's a meme sometimes, like $1 million, not million, $1 billion. Sorry, $1 billion. But you get the point. Like, that's almost a meme, right? $1 billion company. $1 billion company, right?
They were valued by Microsoft at $95 billion. So
yeah, you get the point where I'm trying to make. It's a meme at this point. $1 billion company. By the way, every fucking game franchise uses that whenever there's like some shit. But it's just unacceptable, man. Like, it's not enough. They're selling the league short in all fucking aspects of it. There could be improvements made to the format. There could be improvements made to the servers. There could be fucking expansion. They're falling short in every single aspect of the league. Fuck minor improvements. Like this, it's pathetic.
Here's I think the final thought on this, guys, is I think we've come to a stage of the pandemic now where clearly we can have LAN activity. So I think the upcoming season's gonna be really key here. Fourth season of the CDL. Now that you can really roll out a full calendar, can do all these events, I'm curious to see what they propose, what they're going to roll in so that it can hit some of these core goals that we're all looking for. Because now we don't have the constraints of the pandemic. Keep in mind, all 3 seasons of the CDL have happened amid the pandemic. Now they can actually roll out a real schedule, a real format. One thing that wasn't mentioned in this conversation is a robust challenger system ties into live events. That would be a key thing.
But challengers, I'm going to say, is fully separate at this point, though, because I agree with you. That does need to happen, but I think that's something that should be looked at as a separate entity. But to your point, Ben, I think the problem with where they are now is they don't get enough pro player feedback in the formatting before it's official, right? Like there isn't enough open discussion and room for revision that all players and teams can get an eyes at before something is made official.
Listen, I don't want to talk about this stuff too much, but I'm gonna tell you that's actually not true.
Ben, you can say it's not true, but we both know Activision.
I'm telling you,
no. But let me say this: you can say this, but we both know Activision. There's a difference between open for revision and just showing eyes on paper. There's a big difference. And you know this.
I think you should ask the players and teams, brother. Is all I'd say.
I was a part of it. I know.
Well, I think you should ask the players and teams now.
It's the same shit. Listen, it's Activision. They've sugarcoated everything, bro. They bring players in to see games at points where games aren't going to change, just to say they have pro players involved. Activision did the same shit with the format. There's no credit coming from me,
it's the same. It's the same thing.
Happening.
It's the same thing in Challengers, Pat. Literally they announced the Challengers format literally right after, some things were basically some teams were screwed over by it. Like it was almost like they teams made decisions and stuff like that because they were uncertain about the format, and then they just threw the format in and gave teams zero leeway to kind of maneuver around it. For example, that Latin American team that literally came over here to play against a better competition, the rule set gets put out and immediately they're locked in place. They don't give them any leeway.
Look at the Challengers format, period.
And then on top of that,
it's still the same.
Guys, here's
that format is still the same.
And on top of that, I wasn't even done.
I wasn't even done.
And on top of that, every Challenger player and team and pro players and community wanted the format of it changed, some sort of revision. Nothing happened. Literally just said, fuck it, deal with it. Stuff like that, I feel is unacceptable, especially when your motto, when the Call of Duty League was fucking made, was the 3 pillars of Call of Duty League, professional, amateur, community. When the fucking bro, they're shafting every single fucking pillar of that. Come on, man.
Here's my last thought on it, because I agree with you. I think the challenge, we can spend a whole podcast talking about challengers. I got a lot of ideas. All I'll say is, as a prime example, and Pat, you were around for this. The first year of the CDL, remember the format that was proposed? Remember how it got changed? That was not driven by the league. That was driven by the teams.
That was driven by the fans, first off. There was literally public outrage that format was so bad.
How did that get changed?
By the fans being up in arms. The point is, it shouldn't get to that. If I saw that before I even signed my CDL contract, I could have told them that was the worst format I've ever seen in my life. And everybody that was involved in that room and coming up with it should have been fired on the spot. And Ben, the difference here is you have a reputation to protect with Activision. I don't. I'll call it how I see it.
Well, I know you're
and they are doing a terrible fucking job. There's some great people involved. Don't get me wrong. I love a lot of them. There's a lot of personal relationships I've had over the years. But at the end of the day, the majority, and especially the higher ups, are doing a terrible job for everyone involved. Fans, teams, players, management, it doesn't matter. They're doing a terrible, despicable job, and they need to be held accountable. Period.
Bro,
I hate when you give a little fluff of yeah, well, if you knew the full story or this or that, listen, bro, that could be said to everything, but they're doing a terrible job. Period.
Go ahead, Ben. Go ahead. No, Ben, you got anything else to say?
I was gonna say Patches also didn't deny what I said. The fans were definitely looked at that league format. They're WTF. Earlier, but the teams and players also complained they got it changed. So,
but after the fact, I'm not saying that Activision doesn't
before this even started, they pivoted.
Bro, and you know this. CDL was in plans for a long time, Ben. That's something that should have never ever been put in a deck to begin with. It was terrible format.
I agree, but they got it switched.
You could have had 5 intellectual people who have the history of the scene. Shit, some of the management of the team could have been involved, and they would have said from the get-go, this is a horrible plan. We got to revert before it ever even gets to the light of day. And that's the problem, is Activision likes to wait until it's, until the teams are and people have their pitchforks out and are bitching about it to even consider making a change, when you could have had any number of voices say, this is a bad idea, we can't do it. But anyway, a lot on this topic, Tom. I want to talk about this LAT New York series. So what we looking at, baby? Get us into it.
I mean, bro, we could talk about the series a little bit. I was just gonna say we take a look at the standings real quick and kind of see how everything's gonna unfold going into the weekend, because obviously we're going into the major. It will be held in Brooklyn. What's the name of the theater again that it's held at?
King's Theater.
King's Theater, right? King's Theater, which honestly, looking it up online, looks like it's a pretty cool vibe. So, yeah, I know
It's gonna be a totally like if you guys look up a picture of the venue, like, bro, the look and feel of this major is gonna be completely different from every other event we're gonna have this year.
Yeah, and also I just want to say something real quick, because there's people that are making sarcastic remarks in the chat. I see one right now. Love the analysis of all the matches today and this and that. I already made it very clear going into the show that today we weren't going to analyze much. We had 5 to 6 hours worth of delays today. We started the show at 12 at midnight, so I think we should show Pat, Chris, and Ben some love for being here, one. And I've also been live all day. So it's just been a long day. We thought it'd be cool to just get the show going, to give our thoughts on how the day went, look at the schedule, look at the bracket, and give us some predictions and get ourselves going into the next event. So with all due respect, man, we do a lot of analyzing. We do it every single day. We've been doing it for almost 2 years now, right? We started last year. Yeah, we want to change things up. We want to do different things. It's not always going to be what you want it to be. If you don't like it, feel free to step out and go watch something else, man. We're going to keep it going. All right, so let's take a look. We got the CDL points, man. We got the CDL points. Check this shit out, man. New York needed that dub, man. They needed that W today. I felt like that was a hurt piece for them, man. I felt like that was one where they definitely, that's going to bite them in the ass, man. I feel like now it's not looking so good for them. What would New York have to place now, hypothetically, looking at it, like looking at the major?
Before we go into that, I want to say, Tom, I actually disagree with you. So I think there's two sides of this, right? If they would have won this series, they would have played FaZe.
Right.
I don't think that's a good match for them. Do I think they could win it? Sure. But I think it's a hard match for them. But because they lost, and Chris, I believe you said they ended up playing Rocker.
Yeah.
I think that's an insanely winnable series for them.
I think it's an important series that they play them, Pat, simply because not only do they beat them, like that knocks them into losers, potentially to play another team that immediately knocks them out when they're a team they're contending for. I'm not saying they lose on purpose or anything like that, but I'm saying like that match is just huge in general, not only for them winning and propelling themselves further in the tournament, but because they're knocking over an adversary. And the funny thing is, there is a world right now where every team can potentially, I think, except for maybe I think Thieves would drop down and potentially play one of the losers of, like, I don't know. I'd have to look at the actual bracket, but there's a world where every team ahead of them can potentially not win a match. And they can just go forward.
If they beat Rocker, they play Breach or Mutineers, which I think is another best case scenario where they Tom, I think they have a really easy run to top 3 here. I haven't even looked
at this. I haven't even looked at the bracket.
Yeah, I want to look at the bracket and see, like, I'm not gonna bracket guy. So even if I were to look at the losers bracket, I'd want to see where like people potentially drop down. For example, like Thieves were to drop down into et cetera bracket, because like I was telling you, I think there's an actual world where not a single team that they're technically competing against can get will be able to get a win on the board, or might not get a win on the board.
Well, I think
there's no way that New York doesn't get top 3 right here. There's no way.
Rocker got a tough bracket, man.
I mean,
if they go down to New York, they got to play Optic in the loser. They go right down there.
Well, a couple of things here. Couple of things here. First off, New York and Minnesota is the matchup of the people that can't win matches on land. So we'll see what happens there. Obviously, New York playing at home. Let me finish.
Go ahead. Sorry.
And then Boston's like the wild card in that bottom side of the bracket. Once again, like we saw earlier in the year, like I would, if New York and Boston square up in round 2, like that is not a gimme game for New York by any stretch of the imagination. Boston is playing. We haven't talked to Boston at all in this episode. They're playing some decent COD right now.
Yeah,
like, they're not an easy out.
I'm tired of seeing Florida Boston on land, bro. I'm tired of it. It happens every major.
It does. But you know what I was gonna say? My theory, like just looking at it, my theory is actually correct here. So what I said was every team besides Thieves that they're competing against pretty much has an opportunity to not win a single series, right? Because you got LAG is gonna play Leonard Toronto. If they lose that, obviously they're out. Okay. Then you have LA Thieves. If they drop down to FaZe, which you might expect them to here. They play Paris. They might win one, so that's the exception. But then every other loser underneath, let's say New York beats Minnesota, they send them down to play Optic, eliminated. Boston probably beats Florida because Boston just look better right now. Sends them down to play Surge, the champions, will lose instantly. They could knock out every single team Like if every single one of those teams just loses their first match, like they have a potential of basically going home with 0 wins, which puts them in a prime position to just cruise on in the tournament and not have to worry about any teams gaining points at all.
And that's great for New York too, by the way, and all that as
Yeah,
well.
exactly. That's what I meant. That's what I meant. That's what I was talking about from the New York.
The reason why I
POV.
said what I said is I just feel like 20 points compared to 30 just looked a lot different on paper to me. You know, like on paper it was like holy shit, the gap is just got bigger.
The reason I said I disagree with you, Tom, because you are right. But the thing is,
I get what you're saying. You guys
no
are
matter
right.
no matter what, New York had to get like a top 3 placement at this major, even if they won this online series.
Yeah.
And I think because they lost it, I think they ended up getting an easier road to doing something they had to do anyway. So I don't hate it because I really do think they're gonna run this and get top 3. And I think Rocker's gonna lose to Optic round 1. And I think Gorillas are going to lose to London or Toronto in losers 1. So it's like 2 of the teams they're going against, I really feel are going to lose right away, get no points. And I think if New York at least gets top 3, they at worst case tie Rocker, and they'll be 5 points behind Gorillas. So, potentially New York have to get top 2 here to make it. But I don't see it. That's out of the realm of possibility, especially if they're already, we're assuming they're getting top 3 from the winner's side.
Yeah. Asim also put something in the chat. All 3 major champions are starting off in losers bracket this event. That's crazy, bro. Isn't that crazy? Isn't that fucking insane, dude?
Vanguard.
All 3 teams that won a major this year are all going into losers bracket.
Only one that surprises me is Optic, personally.
Optic surprised me for sure.
Seattle
definitely surprised me.
Doesn't surprise me. We knew.
Seattle surprises me.
Jesus Christ.
Reversion to the mean, matter of time.
Hey, listen, it surprises me. Go ahead, Chris.
I was gonna say, dude, like looking at the bracket, like no offense to any of the teams, I'm not saying New York is gonna do it, but like it almost looks like the stars are like aligning for them. It's like actually the craziest thing to like see. Like I don't know.
I haven't even seen the bracket till right now. So,
that, but listen, Rocker is not New York.
They're not a walk in the park, man.
Hey, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying they're gonna win.
Oh yeah. I know.
I never said that. Like,
but Rocker, I feel like Rocker on land. I don't know. See, I'm worried about New York on land just because they haven't performed.
Oh yeah.
But the benefit, Tom, is New York's gonna have what should be a packed venue and a home crowd to ideally carry them.
Yeah, of course. The energy is going to be bumping.
You saw what it did for Toronto.
Sure. Yeah, it's going to be bumping over
like
there.
I said, I wasn't saying this team is going to have a walk in the park to top 3. I'm saying if you're a New York fan, would you rather them play fucking FaZe or you rather them play Rocker or Florida or you know what I mean? Like that's all I'm saying.
100%. No, I agree with everything you guys said.
They only
got to
get New York's only got to get top 3. If they get top 3
and every other team doesn't lose or doesn't win a game,
and Gorillas or Florida or Rocker lose, like don't get a point, then they're in. And I think that's really possible. Florida's the wild card here. I think Gorillas and Rocker, I think are in a really shit spot in terms of getting eliminated right away. So I think it's really just going to come down to Florida, which has been a wild card this whole time.
It'll come down to those loser bracket matches for sure too.
A friend of mine, you guys obviously know Adam Curry, messaged me that like there's also a scenario where LG doesn't win a single match in this tournament, and based on results, they still make it through. Like
that 5-point buffer,
right? A lot of crazy shit can happen with this bracket. Friday is going to be the real key day here. This losers round 1 might eliminate a couple of his teams, and the picture will be very clear. But he can go pretty sideways here before the middle of Saturday.
Yeah. I mean, we could take a look at the bracket now and go through some of the predictions. We're kicking things off. I got London going up against Ultra, Thieves versus FaZe, New York versus Rocker, and Breeze versus Mutineers. Personally, for the London Ultra match,
Nameless is fine, by the way.
Well, what happened?
He said, "Let's just hope the servers work."
Oh, I mean, and that too, right? I listen. I'm worried because today we had 3 matches and we started the flank at midnight. So if we had 4 matches today, God knows where it would have went. And I'm just thinking about the event, right? We're gonna have a lot of matches at the event, day to day. Usually events are like what, 4 matches, 5 matches, 5 matches, 4 matches. Like there's a lot more matches at events.
4, 5, 4. I think.
4, 4, 5, 4. So it starts on Thursday too. The event.
Yeah.
Okay, so we got a lot of games ahead of us. So I worry a little bit seriously about the servers because these players have been having problems in scrims as well, from what I heard. And I didn't even know that. I didn't even know that teams were having a hard time scrimming.
Bro, I heard even prior to like the recent updates, the game would just like randomly lag like on LAN or like quote unquote LAN, even from like challenger players. And apparently after the last update, it's gone worse.
I mean, Clay was saying he was
Things
on
have gotten
50
worse.
ping
On land.
On land, that's
what I'm
crazy.
saying. We're not playing on land. It's fake land. It's what everybody's playing in the same spot, but you're still playing online. Everything's still hooked up. And apparently, Pat, we were talking about this during the watch party. It's just the way the game is made. You cannot play the game of Vanguard without logging into Battle.net. So you have to be online to play the game physically.
Yeah, I think the days of actual like LAN, even I swear like games like, I'm not saying they have an identical system, but games like CS:GO, Valorant, stuff like that, they play on like private servers. I'm pretty sure we would get, but I could be wrong here, but I think like the days of like actual LAN where it's like, bro, I think LAN, like the actual LAN, you guys remember that? It was like it was a system link on Xbox basically. Like you were just all like you would all be plugged into like
but that
one
was
Ethernet
also
box.
console. So the PCs fuck up LAN. That's the problem, right? I just don't understand all these other esports, all these other games, Valorant and Apex, and all these other games that play on PC. How do they not have a problem at LAN? Like what are they doing that COD doesn't have?
Apex had people DCing, so I would not say that they're
okay, maybe not. Okay, Apex is probably not having
Fortnite had problems on LAN. Like every game, like networking, computer failures, like shit happens.
I feel like when you add PC into the equation, it adds to more problems, man. There's just more problems. Way more settings, way more shit to plug in. There's just a lot more going on when it comes to PCs. You gotta overclock controllers and you gotta overclock your PC parts. Some people these settings, right? So many different settings, and I don't know, just a whole bunch of different shit.
Activision's got to pay fucking Valve or Riot Games for the secret sauce, because those games seem to have like they seem to have it pretty well done.
I will say Valve is not a good example because CS:GO has had some pretty brutal match delays. I think Riot's got in the back door. They're very.
So you don't think console would cause less problems though? You don't think console?
I don't know anything about the PS5, but like, bro, the 360 days, like hooking up and getting to a local area was so fucking easy. Like it was actually absurdly easy.
I will say like, I think they've got it. I think they've gotten the turnover now between series and the CDL side. I think is a lot better than it was even last year. So I think they've gotten data science. But to your point, like, with console, there's less settings that you have to theoretically change. You know?
Yeah, so less settings. Do you ever see a day where we might go back to console? Do you ever see that actually happening?
No.
Yeah, I don't think so. Personally, I've seen we were having this discussion earlier today. I'm curious to see what you guys think. What do you think, Pat?
I'm gonna say no. But I would be cautious because we still don't fully know what's going to come of this potential Microsoft acquisition of Activision, right? Like, we still don't know for sure, what really is going to happen in the next few years with that, if that does go through. I think they'll be on PC, but I think there's always a world where exclusivity could rule the day.
Well, Microsoft owns Windows, so I'm sure we'll be fine because like every single Microsoft game is on like the window, like on Windows, like and then they do like the Xbox Game Pass and all that stuff, and you can basically play it on fucking PC.
Yeah.
I think it'll be fun.
Yeah, hopefully, listen, if it were up to me, we'd be back on console, bro. I just missed the console days, man. I just felt like we had less issues, and it was a lot easier to set things up and get things going. But I say we do some predictions, man. First and foremost, before I ask you guys who you guys think is going to win the event, let's see who you guys think is going to win these games. We got London going up against Ultra first. Who do you guys think is going to take this one?
London.
Ooh.
This is a hard, bro. This is a hard one.
This
is gonna be no.
It's
not, Ben. Come on,
bro.
bro.
I think it's a Nysl. I think it's a 2-3-5 Ultra. I think London's control is still gonna bite them in the ass here. I think they probably win both hard points, but I got faith in Toronto on LAN and S&D. And I don't have faith in London's control at all. So
listen,
talk about the Ben Bance shit.
I love Ben Bance, but Trey. Every time these two guys, the record must be absurd at this point. Every time these two teams face off, those two guys face off, Trey's always on top. I think London's playing the better COD right now. Toronto squeaked into this bracket by the skin of their teeth today. They're not coming in good form. London should win this on paper.
Chris, who do you got?
I got London. Basically same reason. It's just like London just looked like a better team. I don't really see Toronto playing well right now. I also don't think their map pool matches up against Ravens. I think Ravens have the clear-cut advantage in hardpoint, and the S&Ds at least lately have like looked pretty close. Like I think London's been winning a lot of searches, and Ultra has been decent in search, but nothing crazy. And then the controls probably Ultras, so I'd probably go like 3-1 Ravens.
I'm gonna go London on this one, but I this one could go either way. I feel like that's gonna be a really good winners bracket match. I feel like the London and Ultra, they always match up really good against each other. But I do know that the head-on-head stat, right, Ben, with Trey and Ben. What is the record exactly?
I don't know the exact record,
It's like
but it's
10-1
bad.
or something.
10-1, damn.
Yeah.
9-1.
Okay, so Trey might have Benjamin Banks' number, but listen, Ben got 1 win on the board, which means he could do it again. You know what I'm saying? So it'll be a good series. We'll see how that one goes. Then we got the Thieves going up against Atlanta FaZe. This one's tricky, man. FaZe lost to the Thieves this year, didn't they?
Yeah.
They lost to Thieves this year.
No, they've
lost once, haven't they?
this year.
Oh,
No,
they're 4-0?
Oh,
Okay.
I'm thinking of the
What am I
when,
thinking
when
of?
FaZe reverse swept them. FaZe reverse swept them.
Okay.
Tom, remember this is a series where Kenny hasn't beaten Simpin and Beezy since like Black Ops 4.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's interesting. Okay, so obviously, I'm going with FaZe on this one. Who do you guys got?
I mean, bro.
I think LA Thieves are a good team and can give them a run.
LA
sure.
Thieves are a good team, but they just they were real trouble against this FaZe team, especially in search. So I got to go with FaZe, man.
What about you guys, Chris, Ben,
Pat,
Chris? Who do you guys think?
I mean, bro, come on. I got FaZe to win this one.
FaZe all day. I think they're winning Major 4.
Not again, dude. Pat, you honestly need to just stop saying they're gonna win.
Watch. They're gonna win Major 4.
Honestly, it might be a good thing. It might be a good thing they don't win this one, and let's say they go to champs and win that one.
No.
Because everybody that wins
jinx,
just comes
Pat?
home
No,
and goes shit.
that's what I want, Chris.
You
so he's jinxing them on purpose.
Pat
No.
is cursing?
I want them to win this event, and then I'll have my Toronto Ultra winning
Well,
COD
you got to qualify for champs first.
Okay.
They will. Just wait. Listen, this whole year, man, you guys harp on my opinions because they're a little bit early, and then when they come to fruition, just dead silence. So
I know
listen,
you roasted Seattle and they won an event this year. So
yeah, and look at where they are now. What's that, Tom? Last seed coming in bottom down there.
They're chilling champs qualifying.
Down there at
Pat,
the bottom.
Listen, Pat, you said that there's no way Seattle can ever win an event, and I disagreed and said I definitely could see this team win an event, and they won an event. See, that's because I just know what I'm talking about, Pat.
Like
what I'm saying?
like what Dylan was saying earlier, bro. Murphy's law. You know, if something can go wrong, it will go wrong.
Murphy's law, dude. Murphy's law, Marvin.
Shove that law up your ass, Pat. Shove it up your ass. I don't even know what even is that. What even is what is that? Can you explain that to me one more time? What is that? Murphy's law.
Anything that can go wrong will go wrong.
Anything
Murphy's
that
law.
can go. That sounds like a very negative law. You know what I'm saying? Very negative. We gotta have more positive vibes as we head into New York Subliners going up against the Minnesota Rocker. Listen, man, I feel like online, like obviously New York has looked like the better team. But we're going back to LAN, and New York's LAN struggles kind of worry me in this one, man. I feel like they're going up against a really strong LAN team. You know, like I think Attach is going to step up. I think
Minnesota's got like 20
What?
points.
Okay, what? They have veteran play. They have players who are like that have played on LAN before. They're comfortable on LAN.
Listen, I expect Minnesota to. So here's the problem with Minnesota. First off, whoever loses this series has to play Optic. So good luck. Second thing is New York's playing in front of a home crowd and a major where they need to really go deep to qualify. I think there's obviously a lot of pressure on New York, but I think they're going to rise to the moment. The wild card in this situation is Hydra and COVID, because if he can't go and they've got to play with a sub,
is that actually like how bad is that? When did he get COVID? Do you guys know? It wasn't
no
yesterday.
idea.
Pat, we were talking about this. It wasn't yesterday, but it was a few days ago.
Yeah, I think either way. I mean, I asked Trey. Trey, I think said like they test on Wednesday and again on Thursday or something like that. So I think he should be fine by then. That's still 4 more days away. Hopefully, right? Because but back to the point of the series, if New York does have their full roster, I think they run over Rocker here. I honestly have no faith in this Rocker team on LAN. And yeah, New York has not performed well on LAN so far, but it's not like they don't have LAN players, right? Like that's never been a concern. I think all these players do, well, definitely Krim, definitely
they won
Hydra,
the Pro-Am on LAN.
Yeah, right, exactly.
Yeah, they did.
And so I think they just had a shitty major last major. I'm not going to take major 1 and major 2 into account. It's a different roster. But yeah, this Rocker team, we've seen it online. They just do some different shit. And I just don't think they're gonna match this New York team.
But Attach always gets his piece of the pie, Pat.
He does. He's just gonna have to
You
get
know
it through
what
the
I'm
loser
saying?
bracket.
But guys, here's the problem with this matchup. Bro. We talked about this. We talked about this like yesterday. The Minnesota's best maps like overlap really well with New York. Like it is a bad matchup for Minnesota. I think as long as New York is a healthy team, I think they walk over Minnesota.
Yeah, I don't know about that, but I definitely got New York winning. Just because I want to see them, complete the Cinderella story. But I don't think this match is going to be a pushover. Still got faith in my boys, Attach, Eli, Priesta, Havoc. All those guys are really good. So I don't know. I think it's gonna be a good game. But I got New York, going through and completing the
I
Cinderella
think it'll
story
be a
this
little
weekend.
bit worse than walking over. I think the Bulldog is gonna bulldoze them.
Listen, man, I got my
Go on.
boy attached, and I got Minnesota Rocker, man. I got Minnesota Rocker. I think it's gonna be an upset. People aren't gonna expect it, and I think it's gonna happen out of nowhere, and people are gonna be like, "Holy shit, they might actually fucking do it."
And then you get Crim versus Optic, and he's got to win that match.
And then you got Shotzi versus Optic in the loser bracket, and everybody's gonna be like,
Bro, you
"Holy
mean-
shit, what the
Shotzi
fuck is
versus
going
Optic?
on?" They
Versus
say,
Optic.
because it's Vanguard, bro. Like you guys aren't thinking about it,
No,
bro.
no, no. You think
It's fucking Vanguard. You gotta think about.
Shotzi versus Optic.
I meant Shotzi versus Crim, because that's what Pat was
yeah.
saying. Shotzi versus Crim, right?
Yeah.
So that would be a really, really fire match, man. I got Minnesota, man. Then we get over to Breach going up against Mutineers. Who you guys got? I personally got Breach. I don't see Florida winning this shit. Who you
Yeah,
guys got?
I got Breach as well. We were talking about this. Vivid doesn't lose to his ex teams. I think Breach is just better right now.
I got Breach, man. Breach look good, man. Like, granted, Nero still has some inconsistencies. I'm liking what I'm seeing at Tej, Vivid, and Methods on at least a consistency basis. And Nero, he's got that potential, man. He's fucking prime. So, I got Breach.
These two teams have actually played quite a bit this year, I think. And I
Yeah,
think
that's why they got so many points,
Yeah.
because they just play each other on LAN.
And I think it really comes down to Boston just has their number in S&D, if I remember correctly. So I think Boston bringing in Reese, I think maybe even got better in the game mode. So I really like Boston's chance here. Again, Boston might be a sneak team that gets like top 3 at this event.
You think so? You think Boston's
Yeah.
gonna get top 3, or you
They're,
say you
they're,
think they
they're,
could
sne-
get
they're a
top
sneaky
3?
team, bro. They beat Florida.
Hey,
they upset
wake
New
up.
York. They're top 3.
Bro, they're not upsetting New York, but I agree with you. I think they will have a dark horse run.
Ladies and
User
gentlemen, we
was
have a
moved to your
special guest to the
channel.
flank. Welcome Donnie Temp. Donnie, they love you, bro. They fucking love
What's
you.
going
man.
on, Tom?
Hey, Don, you think I'm
You had a
unquotable
quick
right
slip
now?
up right there. Yeah,
think I'm
you're
unquotable?
unquotable right there,
Bro,
bro.
hey, I had a
Said
slip up,
Shotzi
but
versus
like,
Optic?
yeah, but but bro, I just, sometimes you misspeak, Don, it's fine.
It
It's
happens,
fine.
it
Like, it
happens.
happens. Like, I
It
just
happens.
misspoke. You know what I meant, Shotzi versus Crim,
I
'cause-
understood you perfectly, Jeremy.
hey, thank you. Come on, hey, Don, come on.
Oh,
Don, what the
no.
fuck, bro? Come on. For those of you who don't know, there's this website going around, and they have my name as Jeremy. It's some big stuff. We're trying to get it taken care of right now. We're trying to get it taken down, but it's looking slow. Don, who do you think's winning? New York or Minnesota Rocker? I'm curious.
New York.
Wow, that was fast. Why?
They've been playing good. They're a good team.
All right, I like it, Don. Hey, thank you for your
I don't have like a
analysis.
deep take. They just been
Who's
frying,
winning
bro.
the
honestly.
event? Who's winning the event, Don?
I mean, I can't say that. Paris Legion. You know what I'm saying?
All right, bet.
Again, I can predict some series, but the overall winner, I gotta choose myself.
Don, I
you know
think
what I'm
y'all
saying?
can do
Okay,
this.
look
I
at-
think y'all could do this. You're either gonna get LA Thieves or Atlanta FaZe, and that's a good confidence match. If you beat them, you just ride that momentum, bro. You know what I'm
Facts,
saying?
facts.
And Jimbo steps up on land.
Facts.
Jimbo,
Whole team.
Jimbo's just he's a Lanimal, bro. You know what I'm
The
saying?
Lanimal.
So, yeah, bro. You guys think you can make this run or what, Don? What do you think, bro?
Yeah, I mean, you gotta take it map by map.
Honestly,
I'm
I
just
was-
gonna go have fun, to be honest.
I like
that's
that,
my
Don.
goal.
I like that,
Go
bro.
out
I was
there.
actually going to make the prediction you're winning the tournament. No cap.
I'm going out there, bro. I'm going rogue. You know what I'm saying? I'm in NY. I'm in Brooklyn. Be bumping Hove. Hove.
Wait, hold on. Last
You know what I'm
time,
saying? All
Donnie.
type of
You
shit.
gotta get a
Last-
chopped cheese, bro.
Yeah,
Last
chopped
time,
cheese,
Donnie.
like-
You walking on a
La-
KD jersey?
Nah.
Yeah,
Go ahead,
I
Chris,
just
go ahead,
got
bro.
reminded of something. Donnie, last time you were in New York, I remember I have some select screenshots of some
Yo,
pictures
chill,
you took and
bro.
uploaded. You know which ones I'm talking about, right?
Yeah, chill out, bro.
I'll send it to you guys
Hey,
in the
Don,
flank
he
thing, but
try- hey, Don, he
don't
trying to
publicize
expose
it.
you? He
It's
trying to
He's trying to expose me, bro.
No way, Don.
I'll send it to the flank group chat, but it's fucking hilarious.
Yeah, send
dude.
it over. I gotta
I love
see
these
this, bro.
pictures. You don't you yeah, you don't.
All right, well,
That
listen,
shit.
all you guys, who do you think's winning the event? Ben, let's start with you. Who's winning the event, bro? I wonder who you're gonna choose.
I wonder. I think my hot take prediction is that I think FaZe is going to go back to back back-to-back champs. So starting with this event, I think they're grabbing a W.
All right.
Yes, sir. I don't like the champs one, but yes, sir. Major four.
Pat, you got FaZe and what for champs? You got Ultra.
Yes, sir.
You're
Yes,
already
sir.
saying it now. Chris, what about you, man? Who you
Wait,
got?
I meant it, bro. I got fucking Don winning that shit. 23. Go.
You got Paris? You got Paris?
Yeah.
All right, bro. Chris got Paris, and listen, man. Hey, might be a little FaZe bias on the flank. I don't know, but I got FaZe too, man. I got.
They're due.
FaZe.
They're due.
They're due, man. They're due.
Nah, bro. Paris is due, bro.
I'm honestly surprised with them being number one that they haven't won yet. They haven't closed. I mean, they get all the way up there. I think it's hard to argue the fact that they're not the best, or at least obviously they're one of the best, but I think most people will say that they are the best team in the game, including the pro players themselves. So it's like, for me, it's like, yeah, they haven't won yet. I think people might look at that and be like, oh my God, the flank is biased, but I definitely think FaZe is due. I think they're due. I think they're a good team.
They have a 65-point lead on first, Tom. Optic can win this event, and I'm pretty sure. I think Optic would get first purely on tiebreaker, but like FaZe get 10 points. They have first lead locked for champs.
Yeah. So we'll see.
That speaks how good they played so far this season.
We'll see what the fuck happens. Also, I just think the players have been stepping up. I think Simp has looked a lot better. I think he's hitting form now. Like, he's just getting to where he needs to be. He's been frying. And then you have MC, who's it continues. I mean, he's clutching 1v4s, ninja diffusing.
Best player in the game.
He's just making the little plays, and he's just consistently doing it. I just think they have a lot of confidence, and they're gonna ride it all the way to the end. So I'm excited, man. Excited for Brooklyn. Not sure if anybody in the chat or anybody watching is going to be there, but I will be there on Sunday. I think I'm going to be doing a signing or something on Sunday. So I'll be there. Don, you'll fucking be there. We'll be vibing. Everybody's going to be there.
We got to do our mukbang.
Yeah, we'll do the mukbang. I'm going to film a mukbang with Don. Never did one of those before. Barely know what the fuck it is. Apparently, I just eat and, like, talk. So I'm like,
we're going to hit some papapi.
Yeah, we'll hit the papapi. I hit a little papapi for today's show. I'm not gonna lie. Towards the midway through, I hit a little papapi. Sometimes you need to, Don. Sometimes it's like, you know what? Forget it. You know.
Chat wants to know what we think Optic's gonna place.
Optic.
I'm going top 6.
Top 4.
I like the top 4 prediction. But they may have to. The thing is, like, they may have to beat like Seattle to get there. That's gonna be a big series for both.
They're gonna play hard teams the whole way.
Yeah, they got a tough set of matches.
But this is a good experience for them. Again, they're trying to get back in form with Ender. Team's a little bit out of whack. Like, this is a good opportunity to get some momentum going.
I think it could be really good for them, Ben, or really bad. Like, if they
like get like top 12,
yeah, like if they lose the Rocker in like a 2-3-5, or end up losing to Seattle for top 8, like, could be really bad for them.
Yeah, I got top 6. Unfortunately.
They're gonna, like I said, they may have to play Seattle for like top 8, right?
Yep, it's potential. It's Rocker NY for top 12, and then Seattle top 8, and then we don't know for top 6.
It'd be anyone from the top side of the bracket, because I think it flips at that point.
Yeah. Well, realistically, man, I mean, it's Vanguard, so who the fuck knows, man? We don't know what's going to happen next on Call of Duty Vanguard. So on Thursday, we will be back, right? There'll be matches on Thursday, correct, Ben? That's when we kick things off?
Yeah, Tom, are we still planning to do a show on Sunday? I know you and I were talking about it.
No. Sunday, I think we're going to do the Sunday show on Monday. I think that's what we want to do. Same thing as Toronto, except Toronto, we did a show super late at night. I think we're going to chalk that, because I might spend my day at the event, and then we'll come back on Monday and do a show sometime Monday night. So I think that'll be
sounds good.
All right, Ben. I know it's been a long day, Ben, but would it kill you to sink a putt real quick?
Let me try. Let's see what happens.
Oh shit, ladies and gentlemen, I need everybody to make some motherfucking noise right the fuck now. Don, I need a prediction. Is Ben hitting the putt or what? You're the special guest tonight.
I'm a trust.
There's a train going by.
You think he's gonna train it? You think he's gonna train it?
I believe.
Let's see. Listen, I think he's fucking going wide right, bro. I think he's going wide right. You know what I'm saying? Move your mic. Move the microphone, Ben. We can't see the hole, Ben. Ben, we can't see the fucking hole. Oh, my God. Look at this moron with his fucking slippers on.
This shit's not going in.
Oh, he fucked it up. He missed it. He missed. He went wide right. I knew it. I fucking knew it. He goes in for a round 2. He steps up to the green, and I can't see the. He missed it again. This shit. He's terrible.
He's done for.
He's terrible. He's compromised. He is mentally fucking compromised.
Wait, he's going for 3 in a row.
There he
Missed it
goes.
again?
Nah, he hit that one, I think. I think he hit that one. Ben,
Wait,
Jesus,
did he?
what's going on with your swing, Ben?
Ducked it.
Listen, I hit it a little too hard, man. Chill.
Damn,
What's
Ben, we
going on
couldn't
with your
see, though.
swing, brother? What's happening with you?
I hit it too hard.
Hey,
And you got to make sure to move the mic.
Ben,
Oh,
you
it's
keep,
locked?
putting the mic in front of the hole, bro.
Okay, I'll put it on the right side now. I see the situation.
Bro, just push it down. You can't push it down. Just like down. Just
Yeah,
push it
I
down.
can do-
Yeah,
I can do
like
it down.
that. You know what I'm saying, Ben?
Yo, Tom, it's my 14-month sub anniversary. Let me get
Hey,
that
you
in
might
there.
as well hit us with the resub, Pat. You might as well hit us.
I
with
got
the
it in
resub.
there. I got it in
And
there.
seriously, man, shout out to everybody who's been watching the shows, man. We really appreciate it. I know today was a little bit of a different show, but we kept it a little bit more laid back just because of all the delays. We thought it would be better that way, or at least I thought it would be better that way. And I thought we had a fantastic show, and I had a lot of fun
It was a
today.
great show.
Don, thank you for coming on for like 5 minutes and shit. I appreciate it, Don.
Yes, sir.
You know what I'm saying? I saw you in the chat vibing, you know, and fucking
He's watching,
Nameless.
you
I'm
know?
still waiting for Nameless to come on. He's mad because I put him in the F tier, my AW tier list. He's been mad at me.
You put him in F? That's not right.
I put him, but you know, I put him all the way down there. But I think I was a little salty, you know, a little salty from his top 30
Just a
list.
little.
You know what I'm saying? A little salty. But listen, guys, make sure to like, comment, subscribe. All right, if you're watching on YouTube, go to anchor.fm/theflames. Check out audio sites that we're on, and go follow @theflag on Twitter. Gert's doing a phenomenal job running socials. And as always, man, we got matches Thursday. We got a big major. I'll probably be streaming the next few days on and off. I might take it easy the next few days because you know, long weekend, right, man? Just a long weekend. So we'll see how that goes. But love y'all, man. We'll see y'all Thursday 100%. Take care, brush your hair, and we'll see you guys on the next one, man. Later.
Later.